What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube and general interweb space? Cthulhu the Dark One back with you once again for another Transformers Prime toy review. This time we'll be taking a look at Transformers Prime Cliffjumper, who was sadly only in one episode. Spoilers if you've never seen Transformers Prime, he didn't make it past the first episode. Interesting side note, in case you don't know, when he was in the show, he was, excuse me, voiced by none other than Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So, for his 5 lines, it sounded pretty good. But anyway, go ahead and show you his package real quick, in case you're wondering. Standard Transformers Prime, Robots in Disguise, packaging. Cliffjumper, artwork, we'll get to that in a minute. Stats, deluxe class, box art, and yeah, nothing major. Nothing out of the ordinary. Excuse me. And on to the figure itself. Vehicle mode, not bad. Accomplishes the sort of Dodge Charger Challenger-ish car it was meant to resemble. It does have a lot of panel lines. Oops, there goes Optimus for size comparison. This is one of all the Transformers Prime figures. I've seen the first editions in reviews, and even had a chance to get some of them, and I passed, mostly for price, but honestly, for the most part, I wasn't really feeling left out. I thought that, like the retail version wasn't that far off, wasn't bad. This is the one Cliffjumper is the one that I would honestly prefer the first edition. It just got a couple, the car mode didn't have, hardly any panel lines. You can see underneath all the kibble. There's his feet, his legs, his chest, his head hiding in there. Because in the first edition, this whole faux windshield bumper, in the first edition, that's how it actually transformed. The actual windshield and everything folded down and around and all that good stuff. But, completely different size and scale of figures. But, atypically speaking, I don't think too many people display their Transformers in car mode. However, if you are one of the few, it does have panel lines and looks kind of crappy close up. But paint app's really good. You got the headlights. Nice silver paint. And brake lights, which I believe the first edition had. But yeah, nothing too bad. Comes with his, even though he never used it in the show, mace, axe sort of thingy, which you'll see kind of the little red dots there. If my camera will pick it up. And right there on the handle, that little red splotch, that's something I did, just kind of give it a little bit of color. Like it had some energy coming off of it. Vehicle mode, you can either have it on the top, and it does actually resemble a cannon of sorts. Or if you want, you can have super gas tank attack action. Stick it on the side. Which actually I noticed, I don't think it's on purpose, but I'll go ahead and show it. When I was retransforming them and trying to plug the weapon in, this came off. I don't think it's supposed to, sort of thing, but as an option, apparently it can disconnect, and if you want him to have just a more axy looking weapon, there you go. A little bit of options. But anyway, you could plug it in on the side. For some reason, it didn't want to go in, but it would just hang off the side there. Set that aside until we get transformation done. But yeah, relatively speaking, as far as looking in the windows, not too bad on kibble. Considering its size, it's not all that big. But anyway, transformation, you can start a couple different ways. Basically, what I like to do is you start with the back here, kind of split it a little bit to kind of get the tabs for this back bumper out. Fold that up, and then fold the back roof of the car up with it without breaking it. Okay, we'll just move on. If you want, since they're loose, you can kind of go ahead and get the legs out of the way a little bit. Just kind of pull them down. What are you sticking? Ah, there we go. Tilt it back a little bit, pop it loose. That's what I was missing. And just kind of collapse it up, and that's kind of the start of the backpack. Since we're on the legs, you kind of extend them out. Rotate the waist around so it'll look nice and pretty in robot mode. His feet are kind of, let's see, there it is, as it would be in car mode. You just kind of wiggle them loose and spin them around so the silver part is facing forward. And just flip these around. Same over here. I swear I must be allergic to my camera or something. My nose hasn't ran all night, and then when I hit record, it just decides to turn on like a faucet. So I apologize. But anyway, you rotate these around. I'll go after I'm finished transforming. Something kind of weird about the little detailing they tried to put in. And there you have his legs. And to get the rest of them, what you do is, it's kind of weird. Instructions, you're supposed to pop the hood up and everything. It's kind of a pain because, or at least I had issues with it because of the way it's kind of fastened in there. So what I like to do is go ahead and pry his arms and stuff out a little bit, and that totally frees it up. And you just kind of fold it up. And it's meant to kind of hide under the top part there as much as it can. The horns, it's a little thing. I think instructions, you're supposed to flip them forward like that. It doesn't really affect anything, so I just tend to leave it as is. As far as the arms, you kind of saw it there, a little bit of the gimmick. As you pull his arms down, just loosen everything up there. Flip the kind of front bumper pieces up, gives it room to move. You kind of pull them down in the position, and up pops its head. You can see it. It's kind of hidden down in his chest. You know, turtle, turtle. Boy, if anybody gets that reference, then congratulations on being somebody else to watch a shitty Dana Carvey movie. Anyway, separating shoulders, pops his head up into place. The arms, pretty interesting. Has some shares some similarities with the first edition, but is a lot different in the same respect. Okay, ultimately, let's see. You need not the part with the wheel, but the next part down. Either rotate it around. You can go ahead and kind of loosen his hand up, flip that around, and then just kind of fold everything. Nothing really super pegs in anything. Let's just oh no, I'm sorry, there's a little clip there. Let's see if I can show it in there. This little clip right there below the windshield, when you fold everything up, it kind of clips onto here, and there's a little indent. So what you'll do is you just kind of loosen the hand to get it out of the way, flip it all around. You can kind of see it there. You just kind of clip it on there, straighten the hand out of the way. Then just kind of rotate the shoulder down so the wheel's in the back, and you get this little shoulder hooky armor. You turn all this around. And he does, and much like the first edition, he does, not to sound kind of racist, but he does have gorilla arms. He has, he had kind of big forearms in the show, so he's kind of a bruiser, so it kind of fits. Rotate it down again. Turn everything around so it's facing the right way. And there you go. There he is in a robot mode. Everything collapsed up on the back. There you go. Better view of them there. Oops. Pretty good little robot mode. couple things that's sort of off on. I noticed when I first transformed them, you can kind of see the faux sculpted wheels here. Honestly, I can't really remember. I think to be show accurate, I'm pretty sure he had wheels upon his shoulders, so those are fairly accurate. I think the bottom of the back of his leg was completely smooth, and then his rear wheel was up here. But as far as the figure itself, other than this being hollow, like I think they could have implemented some kind of flip around feature a little bit. But honestly, other than looking at it from behind and seeing the hollow space, it really doesn't look that bad. So, you know, like the wheels don't look bad in that spot for robot mode, in my opinion. So it just kind of seems unnecessary. And I actually thought about taking a Sharpie and coloring it in, but then he would have 2 extra wheels on his body that didn't make any sense where they came from. But I mean, really nice little head sculpt. They got his face in there. It's kind of like, "Arr, if you smell what the cliff is cooking." Anyway. And like I said, the kind of fake top of the car bumper. I do like, even though I thought they worked it in rather well, the mechanism to make his head pop up. You can kind of see the gears on either side, and the post in the middle that actually raises and lowers it. I think it fits in really well. It just kind of looks right. Like it's not something that kind of sticks out to me from straight on. His head perfectly covers up, not like Bumblebee, who has a giant hatch behind his head. But yeah, and then of course he has his weapon, which he can hold in either hand. And it's kind of a little bit tricky. Get in there. And he's ready to go. Or ready to try to go and then get owned. As I mentioned, I'd mentioned another slight inaccuracy in why I prefer the first edition. You can see on the package, and if you saw the show, his arms transformed, as most of their arms do, into their gun. And he had these cool little shotgunny machine gun things. The first edition actually has those. Like, he has his hands and you can flip it around and it makes that gun. And I think that just gives it that little extra oomph of coolness. Decent posability. Mostly all coming from transformation, but you do get a hip swivel, rotate, knee. Of course, that's for transformation because it can collapse on itself. Ankle pivot around. And I don't know if it was on purpose or just coincidence, but his like from his leg to his foot, it actually looks like a little spring. I just think that's kind of cool too. No weight, well, sort of waist, but you know, the backpack will get in the way, and it kind of only looks right straight ahead. Head's on a little ball joint, but because of the body mold, it doesn't move all that far, but you can get side to side. A little bit up, a little bit down, but not a lot. Shoulders, full 360 ball joint. Well, not so far out, about that far out. In all the way. Elbow up, elbow down. So pretty cool, and then the hands on ball joint, you know, you can get some rotation and in and out. Just kind of hindered by the molding of the figure. But pretty cool little Cliffjumper nonetheless, because the first editions are kind of pricey now, and they do nothing but seem to go up in price. Another gripe is I kind of wish they'd come up. It does pretty good. But I could see a kid playing with this and having real big issues with this coming open all the time, because it doesn't. I mean, it clips on there. It's just kind of like a little friction clip to hold it in place. I believe the first edition actually had some sort of peg and a hole system. But there he is, kind of hunchy, kind of like, let's fucking do something. Reminds me of Popeye in his general build because of his huge arms. Decent size. You never really saw him next to many people in the show. There he is next to RC. Comes up to about her shoulders. And then Prime. It looks good. Next to all the other figures, I think. It doesn't look bad at all. So, Not too bad. Transformers Prime Deluxe Class Cliffjumper.